Today, we will be discussing the topic of robots displaying and understanding emotions, and how we humans tend to form connections with them. This journey begins with a story from 2007, when the United States military tested a novel robot for defusing landmines. Shaped like a stick insect, its purpose was to walk into a minefield, step on a mine, lose a leg, and continue, sacrificing itself piece by piece. What happened next was unexpected. A military officer in charge called off the test. The reason? It was deemed too inhumane to watch the damaged robot drag itself along. This wasn't an isolated incident. Why would a machine, a collection of circuits and metal, evoke such a powerful empathetic response even in those trained for conflict's harsh realities? The reaction reveals something profound. Human empathy can override utilitarian thinking, even when directed toward non-living objects. This phenomenon extends beyond military scenarios. Another experiment was done with a baby dinosaur robot called Pleo, packed with sensors, including a tilt sensor. Holding it upside down would cause it to cry. Despite knowing it was a machine and understanding its mechanics perfectly, when demonstrating this to a friend and watching the robot struggle, there was an undeniable urge to comfort it, to right it, and soothe its programmed distress. Why do we offer comfort to machines? Our rational brain processes, "This is a programmed toy," while our emotional brain responds, "This entity is distressed. Help it." Often, the emotional response prevails, even when followed by rational reflection. And why do humans feel empathy toward robots? The answer lies not just in the robot, but profoundly in human nature. Humans are biologically hardwired to project intent and life onto autonomous movement in their physical space. This survival instinct, honed over millennia, is called anthropomorphism. People unconsciously treat robots like humans. Designers are aware of this tendency. Robots can be engineered to evoke responses using features like eyes, faces, or movements that humans automatically associate with mental states. Long-term studies that explore scenarios where robots and humans work together show participants experiencing distress when robots are removed, feelings that persist over time. Shared experiences and reliance, especially in high-stakes contexts, are powerful attachment drivers that override knowledge of the machine's nature. This suggests again that we care about robots for more reasons other than their monetary value. Where do robots fit in the human social landscape? Perhaps they're not convincing human replacements, but they could substitute for animals. Thousands of years ago, humans domesticated animals for work, weapons, and companionship. Some animals are treated as tools, others with kindness as companions. Could robots follow a similar integration path? The animal analogy provides a framework for thinking about robot integration, acknowledging different roles and varying levels of emotional investment. This historical relationship offers parallels and lessons for robot integration, including ethical considerations. But there's a potential dark side. What if a companion robot has compelling in-app purchases? The combination of deep emotional attachment and commercial interests creates new exploitation avenues. Users form strong bonds with companion robots, while companies have commercial incentives to leverage these bonds for profit. Expensive upgrades, in-app purchases preying on desires to care for companions. Nowhere are these complexities more apparent than in elderly care. In Germany, surveys show surprising acceptance. 1 in 3 youth aged 14 to 19 wouldn't object to machine assistance, and 1 in 5 over 70s are open to the idea. Consider Paro, a robotic baby seal used in nursing homes with dementia patients. Designed to be cute and responsive, Paro provides comfort, Studies suggest it reduces dementia-related behaviors like agitation and improves social engagement, outcomes comparable to live animal therapy. Paro's success highlights desires for consistent, non-demanding companionship without human or animal caregiver imitations, fatigue, emotional burnout, allergies. However, many immediately worry, are we giving people robots instead of human care? Proponents argue Paro often replaces animal therapy where real animals aren't viable, not human interaction, but lines blur. What happens when someone becomes so attached to the robot that it would be unethical to take it away? This points to critical missing ethical rules, a lack of clear guidelines for managing powerful emotional bonds, especially with vulnerable populations. There are no established protocols for when robots become significant emotional supports. Beyond attachment, other ethical challenges loom in care settings. Is it ethical to deceive vulnerable individuals into believing a machine cares for them? Concerns include infantilization, in other words, treating adults like children, and ensuring equitable access and obtaining informed consent from individuals with cognitive decline. While robots aim to supplement, not replace human care, how is this boundary maintained with projected staffing shortages of 400,000 missing care workers in Germany by 2030? Ethical concerns are amplified with vulnerable populations like the elderly with dementia, who have reduced capacity for judgment and consent, making them more susceptible to potential harms from emotional deception. There's an even more subtle risk, assimilation-induced dehumanization. When human-like but lesser minds are attributed to autonomous agents with socio-emotional capabilities, perception of actual people's humanness can be subtly diminished. People might start seeing other humans as less emotionally complex or deep. Could extensive interaction with simpler emotional robots inadvertently train society to devalue the full spectrum of human emotionality? This counterintuitive possibility suggests that making robots more relatable through socio-emotional features might paradoxically erode how human emotional depth is perceived, a subtle but profound concern for societal empathy norms. What we learn from interactions with emerging emotional machines is not just about technology, it's profoundly about humanity itself. The crucial question for the coming era isn't just, do humans empathize with robots, but can robots change people's empathy? If a child repeatedly kicks a robotic dog because it's just a robot, might they become more likely to kick a real dog? This echoes violent video game debates, but with new, visceral physicality. Conversely, could robots encourage empathy in therapeutic settings or education, for example in children with autism or prisoners? Research shows the benefits of robot-assisted therapy by providing predictable, non-judgmental interaction partners. This is pivotal for future research. Habitual robot interactions could reshape empathetic responses in human-human and human-animal contexts. Ethical framework development requires ongoing societal dialogue, adaptation, and critical engagement from everyone affected by these technologies. The goal is to highlight contrasting viewpoints, complexity, and uncertainty.